Hi. Dyslexia and anxiety, in my mind, are brothers and sisters. It's as simple as that. When you are dyslexic, one of the challenges, even before you're assessed and maybe you're diagnosed as dyslexic, is you're worrying all the time about stuff or tasks you're going to do in the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next month. And if you have any children at home or loved ones who you think are dyslexic, just answer me just one or two simple questions. Are they tired by the middle of the week? By the middle of the week, do they feel exhausted? By Wednesday and Thursday, if they're school-going children, do they want to go to school? Do they feel ill? Do they get migraines? Do they complain of headaches or pains in their stomach? And that's one of the side effects of dyslexia. That when you don't have the tools to make dyslexia work for you, you're always anxious about a task ahead. It could be a spelling test. I used to hate going into school on the Monday to have a spelling test because I was the last one standing up, and usually the one that got a letter in both hands for not knowing my spellings, even though I did my best to spell them in all ways. Right? Didn't work. The same with algebra. Hadn't got a clue because they're letters and they're numbers. Even though I like numbers, algebra full of letters wasn't working for me. Now, can you imagine the anxiety all weekend for me going into school? Worrying that I'm not going to know my spellings. Can you now imagine your child who's going in, who maybe has to answer some questions on an English novel? Or maybe they know they're going to be asked to read in school tomorrow, which still happens. Teachers still ask people to read who they know are not very good at reading, right? And the anxiety around that is just enormous. And the same when you go into the workplace. You have people who are not diagnosed dyslexic at the moment, so they don't have access to the tools and resources to help them. So when they go into work, they feel overwhelmed with the amount of work they have to do. Even though they could be doing the same as other people, they feel overwhelmed that they have to get stuff done in a certain timetable, a timetable that does not suit them. So their anxiety levels are off the roof. They hate going into the office. They hate the journey into work. They hate, if they're working from home, having to switch on the computer and start doing stuff. They hate going to meetings because they're going to be asked questions that maybe stuff they haven't researched because they haven't had the time, because they have a backlog on other stuff they have to try and catch up on. And all that is building up inside them. And that's why, like, even when I did my master's in Trinity College, when I went to do it, and my first exam was I remember correctly, 8 weeks later. Even though I ran a company turning over 40-50 million, even though we just sold the company to Aircom, even though I had 200 or 300 people reporting into me, and I had a fantastic management team who I managed, I still had huge anxiety every Friday when I went to the IMI to study and to go in there for the program. And when I did my first exam, and I was 35, when I was doing my first exam, the terror that was going through my head of having to write stuff down. We went using PCs to write stuff down, trying to think of the right words, the spellings. How do I spell them? What's the best word to put in that place? The sentences all look wrong. And you can imagine the anxiety coming up to that. You could put someone now in the work environment where they have to report, or you put them under pressure to have a report done tomorrow based on stuff you give them today. It doesn't work. So if you suffer from dyslexia, or you have dyslexia, and I say suffer because some people say we don't suffer, you have dyslexia, but I think up to a certain, until you get diagnosed, you feel like you're suffering from something, right? I have dyslexia, right? It's as simple as that, right? And dyslexia works extremely well for me in my writing, in my creativity, in everything I do. I have taught it to work well for me, and I have managed it to work well for me. But other people in the workplace may not know they're dyslexic yet. They may be wondering, why can I not read as fast as someone else? Why is it taking me longer to take that report in? Why am I taking longer to understand how this project is going to work? And you as an employer, first of all, have to be able to see maybe if someone is struggling and ask them the very hard question: is there any way I can help you? You as a parent need to see if your child is suffering, how can you help them? And don't wait to be assessed. Don't wait to be assessed. If you think there's something wrong, and I'm talking a bit louder because I'm playing it overhead, if you think there's something wrong, act now. You're better off, as I tell people, some of the waiting list to be assessed for dyslexia and ADHD is up to a year and a half. Why wait a year and a half and put you or your loved one through all that hell? Why not find or start researching now and find a program or a solution that will help you? Because worst case scenario, you're going to do this program, it's going to help you, and when you get assessed, you're not dyslexic. Maybe dyspraxia, maybe something else, right? But don't wait. Take action now. And that's why I always tell to work colleagues, I tell the people who I meet who believe they are dyslexic, I tell people, parents of children, act now. Don't wait for someone to give you that piece of paper. Because when they give you that piece of paper, it will change nothing until you find a solution that works for you to help you make your dyslexia work for you. So if you want to reduce your anxiety and reduce the pressure all around that, start researching and find a solution that works for you. If you need any more help, just email me markbeggs@gmail.com. If you need any advice, you have any questions, no matter what they are, if you want to ask me, markbeggs@gmail.com. We have resources and we have programs on mindseyeeducation.com, including our new ADHD program. And the only question I have for you today is, how can I help you? Have a great day, have a great week.